Hey everybody, it's Michael, and I'm back today with the Sunset single player with some Last of Us 2 gameplay on Survivor again, and this time we're going the Abby route, and the last video I did put out was all about Survivor gameplay with Ellie. This one's all focused on Abby, and overall Abby is just a more violent, more physical protagonist in this game, which is a lot of fun, and a nice change of pace from Ellie, who's more methodical and you have to strategize a bit more, whereas I feel like Abby is really just a bruiser. And this video today is really just going to focus on some really violent, just Survivor difficulty level Abby gameplay against the infected, just going all out against these infected. And this part here is near the beginning of day one. Seattle day one is Abby, and we're kind of stuck in this like mechanic's garage or something, and for whatever reason Naughty Dog decided just to give us like 2 shamblers, a bunch of clickers, and other infected that you'll see coming out soon here. Luckily I do have a fair amount of bullets and some pipe bombs. Pipe bombs are really a savior in this game on Survivor, and I found that I was putting most of my upgrade mats into pipe bombs over other items. I felt like pipe bombs, especially against the infected, were just so effective at blowing them to pieces, like you'll see there on that first shambler. At this point I'm really just spraying pipe bombs that I have all over the room to finish this just really tough enemy. These shamblers are brutal, and 2 of them at once is a lot to keep track of, so luckily the pipe bombs make things a little bit easier. And of course there's Lev helping us get on out of there, but not before a clicker tries to eat us for lunch as we escape this garage and move on into Seattle day 2, I think, or this might still be Seattle day 1. But making our way throughout the first few days in Seattle as Abby is a really great time, and really great to get exposed to these new characters as well. I don't want to go too much into the story here yet for those of you that haven't played the game, so at this point we're going to move on over into a different section of the game just a little bit later. Again, no story spoilers coming in this video today, guys. So this moment here, we are descending a set of hotel rooms and office buildings in a skyscraper in downtown Seattle, and as you can see, it's just completely overflowed with spores and infected. So we really want to be methodical about how we do this, but it turns out that I'm kind of just running and gunning as I go here. So after you do shiv the first clicker, you want to just pop that bloater at the end of the hallway just to get some damage on him. He'll be a real pain in the butt later if you don't. And just throw a brick at this clicker here. You can use the flamethrower or whatever you got just to take him out, but beware, there is a runner that's stuck in the side of the wall there that's going to charge out and get you after you attack that first clicker. And there's a little piece of health there you can grab, and just make sure that you've got health packs and pipe bombs ready to go. And luckily I was very stealthy in how I played the game up until this point, because you really do need bullets for this really difficult combat section. You'll just see that bloater just completely blindsided me there and tackled me from the side like a linebacker. Just came completely out of nowhere. And Lev, of course, is staying close by, but he's honestly not doing too much. We're doing the bulk of the heavy lifting here. So really you just kind of want to run around the room and just stay away from the infected. You can use pipe bombs to just completely eviscerate clickers like that, and they're really effective against bloaters too. And as you run through, you'll notice that runners will occasionally come after you, and just keep them at bay with a flamethrower. I find that's definitely the easiest way to go about avoiding their stronger attacks. And just when you're least expecting it, the bloater will just completely destroy and crash through the walls like Battlefield Bad Company 2, just like a Kool-Aid man crashing through the wall to ruin your day. And sometimes the clickers can really jump up on you, so it's always smart to have a couple shivs crafted and ready to go just in case. That way you can just do a quick triangle press to destroy that clicker before it ends your life for good. And again, when you have a moment, just craft some more pipe bombs, and you'll see that bloater's just slowly coming to get you. But he's no match for your explosives. But you do have to be accurate, because at this point, unless you've saved ammo up like I have from prior sections, you're really going to be struggling and low on ammo there. And luckily, I can just finish this guy with the crossbow to the head, and we can say goodnight to that bloater as he burns in hell, ideally. And as we examine his corpse, you can just see that There's some nice upgrade materials, some gears and ammo around the room, so you do just want to explore this room a little bit before you head on out, especially since the next section of the game is another area you definitely want to have a lot of ammo on deck for, and I won't spoil why that is. I don't want to ruin the next very survival horror-esque, terrifying part of the game for you guys. I hope you enjoy it on your own. I don't want to show that yet in a video today. Maybe in a future video, best enjoyed by you if you've already beaten the game. But again, I can't applaud Naughty Dog enough for how detailed these environments are. And I know I mentioned this in the last video, but just exploring this hotel floor, just seeing the spores just ingrained in the walls and all the corpses of the infected you just slaughtered on the ground, and just seeing that people actually used to work in these buildings and rent a hotel room in these buildings in Seattle back before everything went down with the events of the first game. And I have to say, Naughty Dog has come so far since games like Uncharted Drake's Fortune. The just entire adventure in this game is just incredible. Just the crafting mechanics, the environments, the combat encounters, the story, everything's just so grand and amazing in this game. And it definitely was my game of the year last year. I know some people aren't crazy about the game, but you can't deny just the masterclass of work in the combat and the animation. Even if you don't like the story that much, which I did like the story, I really did appreciate the story, especially after beating the game multiple times. I definitely have learned more about the characters and the story, and it definitely clicked a lot better. The flashback type of storytelling made a lot of sense to me, actually, this time around. But even for people that don't like the story, you can definitely admit that the game is beautiful to look at. It's amazing from a gameplay perspective if you've played it, and on the higher difficulties, you really do have to strategize and use everything you have to your advantage. So after you clear this area out, again, I really recommend you're thorough here so you don't miss anything. You can move on over into the next section of the game, and again, I'm not going to have clips of that section shown due to spoiler reasons, but we are going to jump into another section of the game on the ferry as Abby later on in Seattle that I really enjoyed from a combat perspective. So let's get right into that section of the video at this point. So now in our journey, we as Abby have to infiltrate this ferry to get to where we're going in the story, and there's a lot of infected that have taken over this boat based on some really cool events that if you dig a little bit deeper and read about in hidden correspondence and collectibles in this level, you'll learn more about and how things went south on this ferry and how things got really out of hand with the infected, and kind of explains why there are infected here now at this time. And the first part of this section here is really great, and it just kind of demonstrates the excellent pacing in the game and how it turns from kind of a stealth based experience to a survival horror based experience to an action packed experience, and it really does crescendo in just a really impressive way. But starting out, there are a couple minor infected onto us after we take out those infected silently with the crossbow. I must not have been as silent as I intended to be, but no worries there. We can just smash that guy off the wall and head on up these stairs. And Abby, for as big as she is, she can still sneak around really well. I would say almost as well as Ellie. And the crossbow is a really awesome weapon for Abby, and it's something that I've since upgraded and added a scope to that makes it even more effective and easy to use. But if you're trying to be silent in the dark and just kind of sneak around, the crossbow is really great to use against especially infected enemies. Just makes things a lot easier. And if you get headshots, most times you can even recover the arrows as well, which is great, so you don't have to waste bullets like you do with regular guns. And you do just want to be thorough, make sure that you're picking up all the mats, especially on Survivor difficulty or Grounded, where materials are less common. You just want to be thorough and explore. And there's the West Virginia coin that I didn't mean to find in this video, but if anyone needed to get that coin for the platinum, I did that a few months back, and definitely a fun platinum trophy to get, but a lot of collectibles in the game. And hopefully if you're missing that coin, I helped you out in showing you where that West Virginia coin is. And in these stealth-based segments, I do find that the advanced hearing is really helpful, so I'm a little bit nervous. Once I start my Grounded run on the PS5, once the update is hopefully out and hopefully increases the frame rate to 60 frames, I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to have access to that hearing. Apparently on grounded difficulty you have reduced access to superhuman hearing or advanced hearing. So that's going to be fun whenever I do get to that. But for now I did just want to warm up on Survivor before going all out with grounded. But I do think that beating the game on grounded would be a really cool accomplishment and something I do want to do in a little while, once the update is hopefully ready for this game. Hopefully this spring or summer we'll get that 60 frames, that unlocked frame rate, and be able to just go to work. And you'll notice here there's even like a little bar here on the ferry where I'm sure the ship dwellers used to get drunk, but now it's just a bunch of clickers and other infected that you'll see coming up further on in the level here. And the design is so cool, just the rain coming down on this boat. It's docked on the water in the ocean off the coast of Seattle. Just really, really good stuff. And again, I'm just circling around the area just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And as I'm ready, I will actually smash through this glass, which might not be the smartest thing to do. I know infected can hear that, but hopefully I cleared most of them out near this area. Once you do that, you just make your way up the stairs, and this is where the real big fight actually begins. So the beginning of this segment, it's very stealth-based, kind of methodical, slower pace. Use the crossbow, get some punches in on some smaller enemies, but now we got to get the real firepower and the real guns ready to take on this pretty difficult section. And luckily I was fully healed and had some resources and ammo and was able to make a pretty good run of this. And real quick, we are going to open the safe here, and there is a note further down you can find that gives you the code. But if you skip that for whatever reason, you can just watch the numbers that I'll punch in here to get some extra mats and bullets. And again, you'll see as I just like choke that infected out just how great the facial animation is in this game. Just see Abby's face just clenching together, her mouth clenching together as she just completely chokes out that infected. And this was a pretty good haul. We did get another training manual that will help us upgrade some of our skills there. This one's for ordnance apparently. And a couple bullets, some gears to upgrade some weapons later. So once you open that safe, you do just want to make sure that everything's loaded and ready to go. And this hunting pistol, guys, is definitely one of my favorite weapons in the game, especially once you get a scope on it and upgrade it to add 30% damage, increase that damage at the workbench. The hunting pistol is really effective, and with the right materials you can even craft 2 bullets at once. Unfortunately I don't have those materials now, but the hunting pistols are great. Once you upgrade that skill to plus 30% damage, I think you can even take a shambler down with 1 hunting pistol headshot. I think it's that strong, which is really awesome and very helpful later when you're trying to conserve ammo later on in the game. So we are just going to snipe these clickers a bit, and if you do get a headshot you can punch them, but unfortunately I missed. I think I hit its shoulder by mistake, so I wasn't able to end them with a punch. And they really just start charging you. Everyone is on this top part of the deck, and they all come at once. They don't really hold back. So that hunting pistol you'll see there just completely wipe out those 2 clickers. Really great. And you definitely want to prioritize eliminating clickers first. They are much more deadly, as I'm sure a lot of you know, than just the typical runner or infected. Not quite as deadly as the shamblers or bloaters though, which I'm sure you guys have picked up on as well. But yeah, these smaller enemies, you can really just pick them off. They're not too bad, but where it gets challenging is when you get rushed by shamblers, clickers, and infected all at once. And here comes the first Big Daddy, the first shambler. And these guys are kind of similar difficulty-wise to the Big Daddies in BioShock, now that I think about it. Maybe a little bit easier. I remember the Big Daddies being really intimidating, but I feel like in this game, if you have the right bullets and the right resources, the shamblers aren't too bad, especially if you go for headshots and use some upgraded weaponry. They're not too much of a struggle, but they can kind of come up on you out of nowhere and punch you and do a lot of damage. I think the bloaters actually are the infected that can punch you and kill you in like 1 hit. Whereas the shamblers, of course, just release that toxic gas and do a lot of damage that way, but I'm sure they can punch you too. I also thought the mix of types of infected was really good in this game. There weren't too many where you just had no idea what you were even fighting, but they did add a few notable pieces of infected to this game as opposed to part 1. And the shambler is definitely the major new infected they added. I mean, bloaters were found in the first game, but Shamblers are definitely new, and just launching those acidic balls of gas at you, just very deadly. And of course, you don't have a shield or anything to block yourself, so you do just have to kind of keep your distance. I don't really like to rush Shamblers unless I just stun them. Then sometimes if I have a strong melee weapon, I'll try to get like a couple strong melee hits in. But if I don't have a melee weapon, I typically like to keep my distance from Shamblers. I find that it makes it a little bit easier to survive that way as opposed to rushing them. And that's why the hunting pistol is so great against Shamblers. If you get a headshot, it does a lot of damage, and once you get the scope, it makes it a lot easier, and you don't even have to think about rushing these guys. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and as you probably noticed right now, I'm running really low on ammo and resources as we get to this final Shambler. And luckily I found a pipe that I feel like I'm probably going to use on this guy. I mean, I do have one pistol shot. We'll see what I can do, and of course he's onto me. Their hearing is actually pretty good, and you'll see there that one blast did a lot, but luckily the pistol blast was enough. I didn't even need to use the pipe. I had already weakened him a fair amount, and it's all good to go. Yeah, thanks so much guys for checking out my Survivor difficulty level gameplay with Abby today. If you haven't checked out the Ellie one yet, definitely check it out. Hope you enjoy it. That one's up on the channel before this. Then I did also put up some video reviews on Control on PS5, Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I put up some Demon Souls boss guide videos. If you're going through that game and get stuck at any point, I can help you out if you'd like. And besides that, I do also run a weekly single-player podcast called The Sunset Single Player that I did link in the description of the episode today. It does go live every Tuesday if you'd like to check it out. And we really just go over the news, what I've been playing, and just major items in the industry. We talk about what has us excited, and it's a really good time if you'd like to stop by and check it out. The episodes run just 30 to 45 minutes, nothing too involved, but definitely something that makes a good listen, in my opinion. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for stopping by to check out my Abby gameplay. And here you'll see this little note here that explains a little bit what happened on the ship that I don't want to spoil, so I am going to go now, guys. But thank you so much again, and have a great rest of your day, and take care.